This is part 2 of a 2-part video about the types of data and some simple graphical displays. Part 1 dealt with types of data, and in this portion we're going to be dealing with some simple graphical displays. So we're going to start with a frequency distribution table. Now we generally use these when we have categorical data. So a frequency distribution table is a table that displays the possible categories along with the associated frequencies and/or their relative frequencies. So here we have an example of a frequency distribution table where we can see we have the category, we have the frequency, we have the relative frequency. Now frequency is the number of times a category appears in the data set. So in this particular instance, we had 62 people who were surveyed, 35 were female, and 27 were males. Relative frequency is calculated by taking the frequency and then dividing that by the observations in the data set. So here we can see we took the 35 females and divided it by our total of 62 and came up with a relative frequency of 0.56. With the males, we took 27 divided by the total of 62 and came up with 0.44. Notice when we add those together, we get a 1. A bar chart. When do you use it? You use it when you have categorical data. How do you construct it? You're going to draw a horizontal line and you write the categories or labels below the line at regularly spaced intervals. Then you're going to draw a vertical line and you're going to label the scale by using either the frequency or the relative frequency. You're going to place equal width rectangular bars above each category label with a height determined by its frequency or its relative frequency, depending on what you are using. What to look for? You're looking for the frequently or infrequently occurring categories. So you're going to collect the following data and then display the data in a bar chart. So you're going to make one. What is your favorite ice cream flavor? Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, or other? And then let's go ahead and let's talk about dot plots. Now a dot plot is used when we have small numerical data sets. How do you construct it? You draw a horizontal line and you mark it with an appropriate numerical scale. And that's going to depend on if it's discrete or if it's continuous. So how do you construct it? You're going to draw a horizontal line. Well, we already talked about that. So the next thing is you're going to locate each value in the data set along the scale and represent it by a dot. Now, if there are 2 or more observations with the same value, you're going to stack those dots vertically. So if we look at the example dot plot we have, we see that for the 47 matches in a box, that there were 2 times that happened. And that when there were 49 matches in a box, there were 4 times that happened. So what should you look for? The representative or the typical value, the extent to which the data values spread out, the nature of the distribution along the number line, and the presence of unusual values. So I want you to collect the following data and then display that in a dot plot. How many body piercings do you have? Now you might be thinking, could you use a frequency table or a bar chart for numerical data? And the answer is yes, but only if you categorize the data into groups which is going to produce a histogram and not a bar chart. So for example, if you're talking about the time spent texting, even though the elements will be a continuous data set, they can be grouped by intervals.